This is how I manifested a new and much better job in one day. I was working as a teacher in a foreign country. The job was terrible. I was overqualified, and the school was more like an overpriced babysitting service for spoiled, bratty rich kids than an educational institution. I got suckered into the job because they promised that I could take the kids to Europe during the school vacation months, and during the school year, instead of being a teacher, I would be the academic manager. Over the first year, I learned it was all a big lie, so I wanted to leave. The problem was that the principal of the school was really cool. She had the best interests of the kids at heart, and we got on great. The owner of the school, however, was a completely different story. He was the heart of my troubles. I was reluctant to leave because I felt I would be letting the principal down, and the head of the department had also become my best friend. So another reason I wanted to stay was because I enjoyed working with him, and I didn't want to let him down either. Things just got worse. Then one day, the principal told me that the school owner only wanted to keep me because I was the only teacher in the school with a master's degree. She confessed he hired me as an academic manager, told the parents he was improving the school by having an expert rewrite the curriculum, and he was going to increase the school fees by 25%. But once he got the higher tuition out of the parents, he threw me into the classroom, and I was never able to do any of the curriculum design work or teacher training work to improve the school, which was the original reason I took the job in the first place. Because of this, he didn't want me to leave. I was really upset when I heard this. My mind was going nuts. One part of me said, leave the school as soon as you find a decent job to replace it. And the other part told me to stay so I wouldn't let the principal or the head of the department down. I couldn't decide what to do, and I felt I was going to have a breakdown. I decided to calm myself down by going for a swim. I went to the pool and started doing the backflip. I started to relax and try to calm my mind and make a decision. All of a sudden, I had a great insight. I decided to just make a decision, stick to it, and not look back regardless of the consequences. I decided to leave the school. The only problem was that I didn't have a new job. Once I felt a sense of peace and calm come over me. I just floated in the water on my back with my eyes closed and directed my thoughts to how much happier I was going to be away from that school, all its madness. I continued to float and fantasize about it for a good 20 or 30 minutes. When I got out of the water, the sense of certainty overcame me. I felt certain that it would all work out for the best. For the first time in weeks, my mind was at peace. I was no longer hearing arguments for staying or leaving the job. I just somehow knew I had made the best decision. When I got home, my girlfriend called me and asked me to meet her at a nearby bus stop. She wanted to take the bus to a shopping center to have dinner. As I walked towards the bus stop, I saw her talking to another Westerner. My girlfriend introduced him to me and said she had just met him, and he was also an ESL teacher. We talked for a bit, and he said he felt bad that I was unhappy with my job. Then he asked me briefly about my qualifications. When I told him, his face lit up. He scribbled on a piece of paper the name of the university that he was working in. He said he had been there for 3 years and loved it. He told me the head of the department was looking for a new teacher to start immediately to cover for another foreign teacher who had health problems and needed to return to the UK immediately. That night I couldn't sleep. I was really excited about the new possible job. It would have paid twice as much as the old one and would have been half the amount of teaching. I basked in the feeling my wish had been fulfilled, and I was working it. I went to the job interview the next day, was hired immediately. I then wondered how I was going to break the news that I was going to leave the high school the next week. Well, I went into the principal's office. She said she was sad that I was leaving. She also said she really didn't blame me at all. She asked me how many days a week would I be working at the new job, and I replied only 2 days. She then said I could continue working at the high school on the other 3 days. I told her, although that does sound like a win-win situation, but I really no longer wanted to teach the high school kids. She said, don't. Do the academic management work that we had originally hired you to do. She then opened up her desk and pulled out a lot of cash and handed it to me. She said, there is your salary for the next 2 months. She said, now you've been paid in full for the remainder of the school year. So the school owner couldn't disagree, and I would have nothing to lose by working at both places. Today, some 27, 28 years later, I reflect upon how amazing all that was, how quickly I manifested the new job, and also how it all worked out for the best, so I was able to work at both places and keep everyone happy. A few years later, After learning about Neville Goddard's teachings, I realized that I had actually manifested the new job into my life, although at the time I didn't realize what I was doing. You hit the subscription button because you want to maximize the benefits of using Neville Goddard's techniques. I literally upload practical videos every week that will be a game changer for you.